Hello, everyone. I'm Anya Boone, and welcome to the second semifinal competition of the 2026 Poetry Out Loud National Finals. In recognition of America's 250th anniversary in 2026, this year's Poetry Out Loud program focuses on poems that celebrate the rich tapestry of American history and culture. As many of you know, Poetry Out Loud is a national arts education program that encourages the study of great poetry through a dynamic recitation competition for high school students across the country. This program helps students build self-confidence, master communication skills, and learn about literary history. Since Poetry Out Loud began 21 years ago, more than 4.5 million students and 81,000 teachers from 20,000 high schools and organizations across the nation have participated. The students you'll see today have advanced from a highly competitive field of more than 130,000 Poetry Out Loud participants nationwide in 2026. Now, let's go over how the competition works. Each student will come on stage to recite their first poem. The order of recitation was randomly generated and will be honored for all 3 rounds of recitation. Students will begin each recitation with the poem title and the name of the poet. Judges are scoring the recitations as they happen, and they score as individuals, not by committee. Students will then recite their second poem, again in the same order as the first round. We will take a brief 10-minute break after the second round to finish tallying scores. When we return, the host will announce the names of the 8 highest scoring students, our regional finalists. These 8 students will then recite their third poem, again in the order listed in your program. After the third round ends, we will announce the names of the 4th place honorable mention recipient, as well as the 3 students with the highest scores. These top 3 students will be named national finalists and will compete in tomorrow night's national finals competition. Now, I'd like to introduce the judges for this semifinal. Poet, writer, and poetry editor, Sandra Beasley. Professor of Acting and Voice at Howard University, Kim James Bay. Poet and former executive director of the Academy of Poets, Ricardo Alberto Maldonado. Assistant Dean for Resource Development at the University of Maryland, Dennis Nangle. And our accuracy judge, Jessica Flynn. And serving as our prompter, Diana Metzger. Student recitations will be judged on physical presence, voice and articulation, interpretation, evidence of understanding, overall performance, and accuracy. Overall performance and accuracy are worth more than the other categories. Judges' decisions are final. Just a few quick reminders before we begin. In order to keep the semifinal on schedule, we ask that you hold your applause until after each round ends. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Please do not take flash photography or stand in the aisles to take photos or video during recitations. We have photographers and videographers documenting each semifinal and the national finals. You can follow the order in the event program, which is also available online for those viewing this webcast. Today's program will include American Sign Language interpretation on the right side of the stage, and also via screen-in-screen, picture-in-picture, if you're watching the webcast. The semifinal is also closed captioned in both English and Spanish. And now, wishing all of our state champions the best of luck, let's begin the competition. First up, representing Wisconsin, Riley Grace Saenim. Attending junior year at the Prairie School in Wind Point, Wisconsin, Riley spends much of the year competing in swimming. Riley also adores visual arts and creative writing. Favorite books include Salt to the Sea and The Tale of Despereaux. Riley Grace Saenim.
Militants to Certain Other Women by Catherine Rolston Fisher. You who pass coldly by when the police rush upon us, when they wrench away our banners, beautiful banners whose colors cry a demand for liberty. You who criticize or condemn, declaring you believe in suffrage, worked for it in your state, and your mother knew Susan B. Anthony. Can you think in terms of a nation? Could you die or face ridicule for your belief? For the freedom of women, for your freedom, we are fighting. For your safety, we face danger, bear torture. For your honor, endure untellable insult. To win democracy for you, we defend the banners of democracy, till our banners and our bodies are flung together on the pavement. Waiting at the gates of government, we have made of our weariness a symbol of women's long wait for justice. We have borne the hunger and hardship of prison to open people's eyes to men's determination to imprison the power of women. You women who pass coldly by, do you imagine your freedom is coming as a summer wind blows over fields? Slowly it has advanced by 60 years' war. Those who have fought in it have not forgotten, and that war is not won. Strongly entrenched, the foe sits plotting. Close to his lines, our banners fly, signaling where to direct the fire. Greater forces are needed, reserves and recruits. Are you for winning or for waiting? Women who watch the banners go down. Women who say, suffrage is coming, while suffrage goes by you into Prussia? Cease to be content with applauding speeches and praising politicians. Patience is shameful. Awake, rise, and act.
Representing Indiana, Jayda Dawn. Jayda is a junior at University High School of Indiana in Carmel. Jayda is passionate about performing theater, choir, and poetry. The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride is Jayda's favorite book. Jayda Dawn.
The Weary Blues by Langston Hughes. Droning a drowsy, syncopated tune, rocking back and forth to a mellow croon, I heard a Negro play. Down on Lenox Avenue the other night, by the pale dull pallor of an old gas light, he did a lazy sway. He did a lazy sway to the tune of those weary blues, with his ebony hands on each ivory key. He made that poor piano moan with melody. Oh, blues. Swaying to and fro on his rickety stool, he played that sad, raggy tune like a musical fool. Sweet blues. Coming from a black man's soul, oh, blues. In a deep song voice with a melancholy tone, I heard that Negro sing that old piano moan. Ain't got nobody in all this world. Ain't got nobody but myself. I was gonna quit my frowning and put my troubles on the shelf. Thump, thump, thump went his foot on the floor. He played a few chords, then he sang some more. I Got the weary blues, and I can't be satisfied. Got the weary blues, and can't be satisfied. I ain't happy no more, and I wish that I had died. And far into the night he crooned that tune. The stars went out and so did the moon. The singer stopped playing and went to bed while the weary blues echoed through his head. He slept like a rock or a man that's dead.
Representing Nebraska, MajieAhna Winfrey. In her senior year at Marion High School in Omaha, Nebraska, MajieAhna enjoys reading Maya Angelou and Nikki Giovanni. MajieAhna loves political advocacy. Her preparation for Poetry Out Loud included writing the poem out daily and practicing recitation in class. MajieAhna Winfrey.
We Wear the Mask by Paul Laurence Dunbar. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts, we smile and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh, great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask.
Representing Alabama, Aarvi Shah. A senior at Indian Springs School in Indian Springs, Alabama, Aarvi is passionate about literature and social justice advocacy. Aarvi appreciates the strong sense of community that Poetry Out Loud has engendered among the student competitors. Aarvi Shah.
If I Had a Million by Samuel Alfred Beadle. If I had $1 million, I don't know what I'd do. But I sometimes think I'd stroll around and squander a few. Or maybe I'd steal away to the country's quietude and spend the rest of life among the simple and the rude. I hardly think with the fashionable I'd be imbued, and the society women I swear I would elude. Nor should the bosoms of my Sunday shirts be immaculate. Even $1 million. I don't think my cranium would inflate, because I'd like to slip a cog and go it with a bit, with my soul aglow of passion for my brother in the pit. Proud to be with the commoners, I'd rusticate a while. Nor would I care a cursed thing about the latest style. Brogan shoes and homespun socks, the very things I need. For too much dress and fashion would my light step impede. A single gallus friend would hold my breeches onto me, and I'd not care a snap about their bagging at the knee. The doctrine of the broad-brimmed hat I'm sure I would not heed. I believe in reducing things to what we really need. Besides, I've always been content under a brimless cap, to go it with the urchins, a frolicking jolly chap. With them, I'd like to take just now a little bit of ease, a lounging where I used to, out under the apple trees, a whittling and swapping jokes with Bill and Tom and Ned, and let our memories filter round the lore of the trundle bed. Over and above it all, this is the simple truth. If I'd it and could, I would spend $1 million for my youth. Then, with my true love, I would go a-sparking it again, and look the love upon her my tongue could never explain. To lead her once again, my friend, through the old Virginia reel, to salute her, to balance all, again to fondly feel the same old bliss I used to, while swinging corners all and stepping to the music of the jocund country ball were worth millions of yellow pelf to a maimed old chap like me, and I'd give it, if I could, with the zest of childish glee. Oh, if I could but put away my gout and rheumatiz and take an old-time outing from the pressure of my biz. With a bonny girl and youth, I'd go to the fair old sunny clime, down the sylvan haunts of Dixie, where the jessamines ever twine, where the lilies faint of sweetness, and ever blows the thyme, where the seasons all are summer, and the climate is sublime, where the rose, a flame of beauty, drops its petals on the sward. Geraniums blush to scarlet, the passion flowers nod, and the breezy sweep of zephyrs brings on the metric chime of the winged minstrelsy in the glory of their prime. If you could take the silver from this old pate of mine, call back my youth a-gambling down yon vista way sublime, and bring me back my true love, my long-lost love again, up from among the daisies where she so long hath lain, the $1 million you might have, and millions o'er and o'er. Again, I'd take my love and youth and ask for nothing more.
Representing Georgia, Rory Berg. A senior at Roswell High School in Roswell, Georgia, Rory loves the theater, both on stage and the technical production aspects behind the scenes. Rory lives at home with mom, dad, and dog Solomon. Rory Berg.
A January Dandelion by George Marion McClellan. All Nashville is a chill, and everywhere like desert sand when the winds blow there is, each moment sifted through the air, a powdered blast of January snow. Oh, thoughtless dandelion, to be misled by a few warm days, to leave thy natural bed, was folly growth, and blooming over soon. And yet, thou blasted yellow-coated gem, full many a heart has but a common boon with thee, now freezing on thy slender stem. When the heart has bloomed by the touch of love's warm breath, then left, and chilling snow is sifted in, it may still beat, but there is blast and death to all that blooming life that might have been.
Representing Arkansas, Lillian Baker. A junior at Sheridan High School in Sheridan, Arkansas, Lillian practices competitive dance, flute, and theater. Lillian is passionate about the arts and believes the arts are vital for creating community and a feeling of belonging. Lillian Baker.
The Prairie Town by Helen Santmeyer. Lovers of beauty laugh at this gray town where dust lies thick on ragged curbside trees and compass needle streets lead up and down and lose themselves in empty prairie seas. Here is no winding, scented lane, no hill crowned with a steepled church, no garden wall of old gray stone where lilacs bloom and fill the air with fragrance when the May rains fall. But here is the unsoftened majesty of the wide earth where all the wide streets end, and from the dusty corner, one may see the full moon rise and flaming sun descend. The long main street, whence farmers' teams go forth, lies like an old sea road, star-pointed north.
Representing Kansas, Miriam Mantara. Miriam is a junior at Blue Valley High School in Overland Park, Kansas. Miriam enjoys romance novels and discovering new poetry, and is passionate about acting and performing. Miriam Mantara.
It Was Not Fate by William H.A. Moore. It was not fate which overtook me, rather a wayward, willful wind that blew hot for a while, and then, as the even shadows came, blew cold. What pity it is that a man grown old in life's streaming should stop, e'en for a moment to look into a woman's eyes. And I forgot that one's heart must be steeled against the east wind. Life and death alike come out of the east. Life as tender as young grass, death as dreadful as the sight of clotted blood. I shall go back into the darkness, not to dream, but to seek the light again. I shall go by paths, mayhaps, on roads that wind around the foothills, where the plains are bare and wild and the passerbys come few and far between. I want the night to be long, the moon blind, the hills thick with moving memories, and my heart beating a breathless requiem for all the dead days I have lived. When the dawn comes, dawn, deathless, dreaming, I shall will that my soul must be cleansed of hate. I shall pray for strength to hold children close to my heart. I shall desire to build houses where the poor will know shelter, comfort, beauty, and then may I look into a woman's eyes and find holiness, love, and the peace which passeth understanding.
Representing Iowa, Emma Oleson. A senior at Sioux City North High School in Sioux City, Iowa, Emma enjoys reading the Harry Potter series and Red Rising. Emma also spends time caring for several pets, including 2 dogs and a bearded dragon. Emma Oleson.
Militants to Certain Other Women by Catherine Rolston Fisher. You who pass coldly by when the police rush upon us, when they wrench away our banners, beautiful banners whose colors cry a demand for liberty. You who criticize or condemn, declaring you believe in suffrage, worked for it in your state, and your mother knew Susan B. Anthony. Can you think in terms of a nation? Could you die? Or face ridicule for your belief, for the freedom of women, for your freedom we are fighting. For your safety, we face danger, bear torture. For your honor, endure untellable insult. To win democracy for you, we defend the banners of democracy till our banners and our bodies are flung together on the pavement. Waiting at the gates of government, we have made of our wariness a symbol of women's long wait for justice. We have borne the hunger and hardship of prison to open people's eyes to men's determination to imprison the power of women. You women who pass coldly by. Do you imagine your freedom is coming as a summer wind blows over fields? Slowly, it has advanced by a 60 years war. Those who have fought in it have not forgotten, and that war is not won. Strongly entrenched, the foe sits plotting. Close to his lines, our banners fly, signaling where to direct the fire. Greater forces are needed. Reserves and recruits, are you for winning? Or for waiting? Women who watch the banners go down, women who say suffrage is coming, while suffrage goes by you into Prussia. Cease to be content with applauding speeches and praising politicians. Patience is shameful. Awake, rise, and act.
Representing Louisiana, Mallory Lott. Mallory is a senior at Covington High School in Covington, Louisiana. Mallory adores musical theater, visual arts, and fashion. Favorite books include The Great Gatsby and The Nightingale. Mallory selected poems that felt personally meaningful and refined their performance with their theater director, Mallory Lott.
Tea at the Palaz of Hoon by Wallace Stevens. Not less because in purple I descended the western day through what you called the loneliest air. Not less was I myself. What was the ointment sprinkled on my beard? What were the hymns that buzzed beside my ears? What was the sea whose tide swept through me there? Out of my mind, the golden ointment rained, and my ears made the blowing hymns they heard. I was myself the compass of that sea. I was the world in which I walked, and what I saw or heard or felt came not but from myself. And there, I found myself more truly and more strange.
Representing Oklahoma, Sarah Wheatley. An 11th grader at Bethany Public Schools in Bethany, Oklahoma. Sarah loves theater, music, and performance. Sarah's cat Nutmeg is the most amazing cat in the whole of the world. In addition to Nutmeg, Sarah lives at home with an older and younger brother. Sarah Wheatley.
Song of Myself 3 by Walt Whitman. I have heard what the talkers were talking, the talk of the beginning and the end. But I do not talk of the beginning or the end. There was never any more inception than there is now, nor any more youth or age than there is now, and will never be any more perfection than there is now, nor any more heaven or hell than there is now. Urge and urge and urge, always the procreant urge of the world. Out of the dimness, opposite equals advance, always substance and increase, always sex, always a knit of identity, always distinction, always a breed of life. To elaborate is no avail, learned and unlearned, feel that it is so. Sure as the most certain shore, plumb in the uprights, well entreated, braced in the beams, stout as a horse, affectionate, haughty, electrical. I in this mystery here we stand. Clear and sweet is my soul, and clear and sweet is all that is not my soul. Lack one, lacks both, and the unseen is proved by the seen, till that becomes unseen and receives proof in its turn. Showing the best and dividing it from the worst, age vexes age. Knowing the perfect fitness and equanimity of things, while they discuss, I am silent and go bathe and admire myself. Welcome is every organ and attribute of me, and of any man hardy and clean. Not an inch nor a particle of an inch is vile, and none shall be less familiar than the rest. I am satisfied. I see, dance, laugh, sing, as the hugging and loving bedfellow sleeps at my side through the night and withdraws at the peep of the day with stealthy tread, leaving me baskets covered with white towels, swelling the house with their plenty. Shall I postpone my exception and realization and scream at my eyes as they turn from gazing after and down the road, and forthwith cipher and show me to assent exactly the value of one and exactly the value of two, and which is ahead?
Representing Kentucky, Bella Slone. An 11th grader at Beechwood High School in Union, Kentucky, Bella's favorite book is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. A member of the school's forensics team since the 9th grade, Bella is passionate about speech and debate. Bella Slone.
Militant to Certain Other Women by Catherine Ralston Fisher. You who pass coldly by when the police rush upon us, when they wrench away our banners, beautiful banners whose colors cry a demand for liberty. You who criticize or condemn, declaring you believe in suffrage, worked for it in your state, and your mother knew Susan B. Anthony. Can you think in terms of a nation? Could you die or face ridicule for your belief? For the freedom of women, for your freedom, we are fighting. For your safety, we face danger, bear torture. For your honor, endure untellable insult. To win democracy for you, we defend the banners of democracy till our banners and our bodies are flung together on the pavement.
waiting at the gates of government, we have made of our weariness a symbol of women's long wait for justice. We have borne the hunger and hardship of prison to open people's eyes to men's determination to imprison the power of women. You women who pass coldly by, do you imagine your freedom is coming as a summer wind blows over fields? Slowly, it has advanced by a 60 years war. Those who have fought in it have not forgotten, and that war is not won. Strongly entrenched, the foe sits plotting. Close to his lines, our banners fly, signaling where to direct the fire. Greater forces are needed, reserves and recruits. Are you for winning or for waiting? Women who watch the banners go down. Women who say, suffrage is coming, while suffrage goes by you into Prussia. Cease to be content with applauding speeches and praising politicians. Patience is shameful. Awake, rise, and act.
Representing Mississippi, Elayjah Earles. A senior at Mississippi School of the Arts in Brookhaven, Mississippi, Elayjah has 4 siblings, a wonderful and hardworking mother, and 2 lab retrievers. Elayjah appreciates the writing of Sandra Cisneros and Nick Stone. Elayjah Earles.
Let the Light Enter by Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. The dying words of Garretta. Light, more light. The shadows deepen and my life is ebbing low. Throw the windows widely open. Light, more light before I go. Softly, let the balmy sunshine play around my dying bed. Ere the dimly lighted valley, I with lonely feet must tread. Light, more light, for death is weaving shadows round my waning sight. And I fain would gaze upon him through a stream of earthly light, not for greater gifts of genius, not for thoughts more grandly bright. All the dying poet whispers is a prayer for light, more light. Heeds he not the gathered laurels fading slowly from his sight? All the poet's aspirations center in that prayer for light. Gracious Savior, when life's daydreams melt and vanish from the sight, may our dim and longing vision then be blessed with light, more light.
Representing Michigan, Eliza Aldridge. In grade 12, Eliza attends Leland Public School in Leland, Michigan. Eliza loves reading, particularly The Prince of Tides by Pat Conroy. Eliza's hobbies include singing, acting, and journalism. Eliza Aldridge.
Chicago by Carl Sandburg. Hog butcher for the world, toolmaker, stacker of wheat, player with railroads and the nation's freight handler. Stormy, husky, brawling city of the big shoulders. They tell me you are wicked, and I believe them, for I have seen your painted women under the gas lamps luring the farm boys. And they tell me you are crooked, and I answer, yes, it is true, I have seen the gunmen kill and go free to kill again. And they tell me you are brutal, and my reply is, on the faces of women and children, I have seen the marks of wanton hunger. And, having answered so, I turn once more to those who sneer at this, my city, and I give them back the sneer and say to them, come and show me another city with lifted head, singing, so proud to be alive and coarse and strong and cunning, flinging magnetic curses amid the toil of piling job on job. Here is a tall, bold slugger set vivid against the little soft cities. Fierce as a dog with tongue lapping for action, cunning as a savage pitted against the wilderness. Bareheaded, shoveling, wrecking, planning, building, breaking, rebuilding. Under the smoke, dust all over his mouth, laughing with white teeth under the terrible burden of destiny. Laughing as a young man laughs, laughing even as an ignorant fighter laughs who has never lost a battle. Bragging and laughing that under his wrist is the pulse and under his ribs the heart of the people. Laughing. Laughing. The stormy, husky, brawling laughter of youth, half-naked, sweating, proud to be hog butcher, toolmaker, stacker of wheat, player with railroads and freight handler to the nation.
Representing Tennessee, Sarah Williamson. A sophomore at Hardin Valley Academy in Knoxville, Tennessee, Sarah adores singing. Her singing interest spans many genres and styles, from opera to pop music. Sarah's favorite book is Anne of Green Gables. Sarah Williamson.
On Pain by Khalil Gibran. And a woman spoke, saying, tell us of pain. And he said, your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. Even as the stone of the fruit must break, that its heart may stand in the sun, so must you know pain. And could you keep your heart in wonder at the daily miracles of your life, your pain would not seem less wondrous than your joy. And you would accept the seasons of your heart, even as you have always accepted the seasons that pass over your fields. And you would watch with serenity through the winters of your grief. Much of your pain is self-chosen. It is the bitter potion by which the physician within you heals your sick self.
Therefore, trust the physician and drink his remedy in silence and tranquility. For his hand, though heavy and hard, has been guided by the tender hand of the unseen, and the cup he brings, though it burn your lips, has been fashioned of the clay which the potter has moistened with his own sacred tears.
Representing Puerto Rico, David de Aguilar. A senior at the School of San Juan in San Juan, Puerto Rico, David appreciates literature and reading a range of genres. David lives at home with his parents, 4 brothers, and his dog. David de Aguilar.
A Dream Within a Dream by Edgar Allan Poe. Take this kiss upon the brow, and am parting from you now. Thus much let me avow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. Oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Oh God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream?
Representing Florida, Esinam Agama. Esinam is an 11th grader at Tallahassee Collegiate Academy in Tallahassee, Florida. Esinam's hobbies include writing poetry, drawing, and bullet journaling. Maya Angelou and Paul Laurence Dunbar are 2 of Esinam's favorite authors. Esinam Agama.
That Blessed Hope by Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. Oh, touch it not, that hope so blessed, which cheers the fainting heart, and points it to the coming rest where sorrow has no part. Tear from heart each worldly prop, unbind each earthly string. But to this blessed and glorious hope, oh, let my spirit cling. It cheered amid the days of old each holy patriarch's breast. It was an anchor to their souls. Upon it let me rest. When wandering in the dens and caves and goat and sheepskins dressed, appealed and scattered people learned to know this hope was blessed.
help me to love this blessed hope. My heart's a fragile thing. Will you not nerve and bear it up around this hope to cling? Help amid this world of strife to long for Christ to reign, that when he brings the crown of life, I may that crown obtain.
Representing Missouri, Salvador Gonzalez. Salvador attends Stockton High School in Stockton, Missouri as a senior. Salvador often reads theology books and poetry of Jayda Dawn. Salvador has a long-haired chihuahua, a golden doodle, 2 brothers, and a half-sister. Salvador Gonzalez.
On Pain by Khalil Gibran. And a woman spoke, saying, "Tell us of pain." And he said, "Your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. Even as the stone of the fruit must break, that its heart may stand in the sun, so must you know pain. And could you keep your heart in wonder at the daily miracles of your life, your pain would not seem less wondrous than your joy. You would accept the seasons of your heart even as you have always accepted the seasons that pass over your fields. And you would watch with serenity through the winters of your grief. Much of your pain is self-chosen. It is the bitter potion by which the physician within you heals your sick self. Therefore, trust the physician and drink his remedy in silence and tranquility, for his hand, though heavy and hard, is guided by the tender hand of the unseen. And the cup he brings, though it burn your lips, has been fashioned of the clay which the potter has moistened with his own sacred tears.
Representing Illinois, Jaden Conley. A senior at Niles West High School in Skokie, Illinois, Jaden has practiced for poetry out loud, both at home in front of the mirror and during shifts at Target. Jaden feels privileged to be surrounded by family and friends that also appreciate the arts. Jaden Conley.
Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Well, son, I'll tell you. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, I spent a climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps, 'cause you finds it's kinder hard. Don't you fall now. for eyes still going, honey. Eyes still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
That concludes round one. Weren't they amazing? And now we'll take just one moment to finish our tabulations. Now, I'm pleased to welcome Carolyn Coons, Public Affairs Specialist for Poetry Out Loud from the National Endowment for the Arts.
On behalf of the National Endowment for the Arts and all of our partners, thank you for joining us for the second semifinal competition for the 2026 Poetry Out Loud National Finals. We are so pleased to welcome this talented group of students from across the country. We also appreciate the hard work of our state and jurisdictional partners, participating schools, organizations, and teachers who have brought this program to communities throughout the nation. Poetry Out Loud succeeds because of your time, talent, and dedication. Thank you also to the many staff members who made this event possible today. And to our 2026 state and jurisdictional champions, congratulations. We are so proud and wish you all the best in today's competition. Thank you to everyone for being a part of Poetry Out Loud and bringing poetry into your lives today.
Thank you, Carolyn. Next, we will see each student recite their second poem. First up, from Wisconsin, Riley Grace Saenim.
An Apology by Julia Ward Howe. For a warm word spoken, I spake, perhaps, too sharp a word for one bred up in modesty. But base injustice, trivial scorn on honor heaped, had angered me. The smile of courtesy forsook these lips, so timid, even for good, while o'er the paleness of my brow flashed crimson, the indignant blood. Nor could I to the contest bring the trained weapon of the mind, snatching from reason's armory such shafts as grief had left behind. Grief for the faltering of the age, grief for my country and my race, grief to sit here with Christian men that boast their want of Christian grace. I say not that the man I praise by that poor tribute stands more high. I say not that the man I blame be not of purer worth than I. But when I move reluctant lips for holy justice, human right, the sacred cause I strive to plead lends me its favor and its might. And I must argue from the faith which gave the fervor of my youth, or keep such silence as yon stars that only look and live God's truth.
From Indiana, Jayda Dawn.
Why We Oppose Pockets for Women by Alice Dear Miller. 1. Because pockets are not a natural right. 2. Because the great majority of women do not want pockets. If they did, they would have them. 3. Because whenever women have had pockets, they have not used them. 4. Because women are required to carry enough things as it is without the additional burden of pockets. 5. Because it would make dissension between husband and wife as to whose pockets were to be filled. 6. Because it would destroy man's chivalry toward woman if he did not have to carry all her things in his pockets. 7. Because men are men and women are women. We must not fly in the face of nature. 8. Because pockets have been used by men to carry tobacco, pipes, whiskey flasks, chewing gum, and compromising letters. We see no reason to suppose that women would use them more wisely.
From Alabama, Aarvi Shah.
Learning to Read by Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. Very soon the Yankee teachers came down and set up school, but oh, how the Rebs did hate it. It was again their rule. Our masters always tried to hide book learning from our eyes. Knowledge didn't agree with slavery. It would make us all too wise. But some of us would try to steal a little from the book and put the words together and learn by hook or crook. I remember Uncle Caldwell, who took pot liquor fat and greased the pages of his book and hid it in his hat. And had his master ever seen the leaves upon his head, he'd have thought them greasy papers, but nothing to be read. And there was Mr. Turner's Ben, who heard the children spell and picked the words right up by heart and learned to read 'em well. Well, the northern folks kept sending the Yankee teachers down, and they stood right up and helped us, though Rebs did sneer and frown. And I longed to read my Bible, for precious words it said. But when I begun to learn it, folks just shook their heads and said there is no use trying. Oh, Chloe, you're too late. But as I was rising 60, I had no time to wait. So I got a pair of glasses and straight to work I went and never stopped till I could read the hymns and testament. Then I got a little cabin, a place to call my own, and I felt independent as the queen upon her throne.
From Nebraska, MajieAhna Winfrey.
Militants to Certain Other Women by Catherine Ralston Fisher. You, who pass coldly by when the police rush upon us, when they wrench away our banners, beautiful banners, whose colors cry a demand for liberty. You, who criticize or condemn, declaring you
believe in suffrage, worked for it in your state, and your mother knew Susan B. Anthony? Can you think in terms of a nation? Could you die or face ridicule for your belief? For the freedom of women, for your freedom we are fighting. For your safety, we face danger, bear torture. For your honor, endure untellable insult. To win democracy for you, we defend the banners of democracy until our banners and our bodies are flung together on the pavement. Waiting at the gates of government, we have made of our weariness a symbol of women's long wait for justice. We have borne the hunger and hardship of prison to open people's eyes, to men's determination to imprison the power of women, you women, who pass coldly by. Do you imagine your freedom is coming as the summer wind blows over fields? Slowly, it has advanced by a 60 years war. Those who have fought in it have not forgotten. And that war is not won. Strongly entrenched, the foe sits plotting. Close to his lines, our banners fly, signaling where to direct the fire. Greater forces are needed, reserves and recruits. Are you for winning or for waiting? Women who watch the banners go down, women who say, suffrage is coming, while suffrage goes by you into Prussia? Cease to be content with applauding speeches and praising politicians. Patience is shameful. Awake, rise, and act.
From Georgia, Rory Berg.
Song of Myself, 26, by Walt Whitman. Now I will do nothing but listen, to accrue what I hear into this song, till its sounds contribute toward it. I hear bravuras of birds, bustle of growing wheat, gossip of flames, clack of sticks cooking my meals. I hear the sound I love, the sound of the human voice. I hear all sounds running together, combined, fused, or following. Sounds of the city and sounds out of the city, sounds of the day and night, talkative young ones to those that like them, the loud laugh of work people at their meals, the angry bass of disjointed friendship, the faint tones of the sick. The judge, with hands tight to the desk, his padded lips pronouncing a death sentence. The heave-a-yo of stevedores unlading ships by the wharves, the refrain of the anchor lifters, the ring of alarm bells, the cry of fire, the whir of swift-streaking engines and hose carts with premonitory tinkles and colored lights, the steam whistle, the solid roll of the train of approaching cars. The slow march, played at the head of the association marching two and two. They go to guard some corpse. The flag tops are draped with black muslin. I hear the violoncello. 'Tis the young man's heart's complaint. I hear the keyed cornet. It glides quickly in through my ears. It shakes mad sweet pangs through my belly and breast. I hear the chorus. It is a grand opera. All this indeed is music. This suits me. A tenor large and fresh as the creation fills me. The orbic flex of his mouth is pouring and filling me full. I hear the trained soprano. What work with hers is this? The orchestra whirls me wider than Uranus flies. It wrenches such ardors from me I did not know. I possess them, it sails me. I dab with bare feet, they are licked by the indolent waves. I am cut by bitter and angry hail. I lose my breath steeped amid honeyed morphine, my windpipe throttled in fakes of death. At length, led up again to feel the puzzle of puzzles. And that we call being.
From Arkansas, Lillian Baker.
Medusa by Louise Bogan. I had come to the house in a cave of trees, facing a sheer sky. Everything moved. A bell hung, ready to strike. Sun and reflection wheeled by. When the bare eyes were before me, and the hissing hair held up at a window seen through a door, the stiff, bald eyes, the serpents on the forehead, formed in the air. This is a dead scene. Forever now. Nothing will ever stir. The end will never brighten it more than this, nor the rain blur. The water will always fall and will not fall, and the tipped bell make no sound. The grass will always be growing for hay, deep on the ground. And I shall stand here like a shadow under the great balanced day, my eyes on the yellow dust that was lifting in the wind and does not drift away.
From Kansas, Miriam Mantara.
Conscience by Henry David Thoreau. Conscience is instinct bred in the house, feeling and thinking propagate the sin by an unnatural breeding in and in. I say, turn it outdoors, into the moors. I love a life whose plot is simple and does not thicken with every pimple. A soul so sound, no sickly conscience binds it. That makes the universe no worse that finds it. I love an earnest soul whose mighty joy and sorrow are not drowned in a bowl and brought to life tomorrow that lives one tragedy, not 70. A conscience worth keeping, laughing, not weeping. A conscience wise and steady and forever ready, not changing with events, dealing in compliments. A conscience exercised about large things where one may doubt. I love a soul, not all of wood, predestined to be good, but true to the backbone, unto itself alone, and false to none. Born to its own affairs, its own joys, and own cares, by whom the work which God begun is finished and not undone. taken up where he left off, whether to worship or to scoff? If not good, why then evil? If not good God, good devil? Goodness, you hypocrite, come out of that. Live your life, do your work, then take your hat. I have no patience towards such conscientious cowards. Give me simple laboring folk who love their work, whose virtue is a song to cheer God along.
From Iowa, Emma Oleson.
My Grandmother's Love Letters by Hart Crane. There are no stars tonight, but those of memory. Yet how much room for memory there is in the loose girdle of soft rain. There is even room enough for the letters of my mother's mother, Elizabeth, that have been pressed so long into a corner of the roof that they are brown and soft and liable to melt as snow. Over the greatness of such space, steps must be gentle. It is all hung by an invisible white hair. It trembles as birch limbs webbing the air, and I ask myself, are your fingers long enough to play old keys that are but echoes? Is the silence strong enough to play music back to you again, as though to her? Yet I would lead my grandmother by the hand through much of what she would not understand, and so I stumble. And the rain continues on the roof with such a sound of gently pitying laughter.
From Louisiana, Mallory Lott.
Poetry by Marianne Moore. I too dislike it. There are things that are important beyond all this fiddle. Reading it, however, with a perfect contempt for it, one discovers that there is in it, after all, a place for the genuine. Hands that can grasp, eyes that can dilate, hair that can rise. If it must, these things are important, not because a high-sounding interpretation can be put upon them, but because they are useful. When they become so derivative as to become unintelligible, the same thing may be said for all of us, that we do not admire what we cannot understand. The bat holding on upside down or in quest of something to eat. Elephants pushing. A wild horse taking a roll. A tireless wolf under a tree. the immovable critic, twinkling his skin like a horse that feels a flea. The baseball fan, the statistician, case after case could be cited did one wish it, nor is it valid to discriminate against business documents and school books. All these phenomena are important. One must make a distinction, however. When dragged into prominence by half-poets, the result is not poetry, nor till the autocrats among us can be literalists of the imagination, above insolence and triviality, and can present for inspection imaginary gardens with real toads in them. Shall we have it? In the meantime, if you demand, on the one hand, in defiance of their opinion, the raw material of poetry in all its rawness, and that which is on the other hand genuine, then you are interested in poetry.
From Oklahoma, Sarah Wheatley.
The Paradox by Paul Laurence Dunbar. I am the mother of sorrows. I am the ender of grief. I am the bud and the blossom. I am the late falling leaf. I am thy priest and thy poet. I am thy serf and thy king. I cure the tears of the heartsick. When I come near, they shall sing. White are my hands as the snowdrop. Swart are my fingers as clay. Dark is my frown as the midnight. Fair is my brow as the day. Battle and war are my minions, doing my will as divine. I am the calmer of passions. Peace is a nursling of mine. Speak to me gently or curse me. Seek me or fly from my sight. I am thy fool in the morning. Thou art my slave in the night. Down to the grave will I take thee, out from the noise of the strife. Then shalt thou see me and know me. Death then no longer, but life. Then shalt thou sing at my coming, kiss me with passionate breath, clasp me, smile to have thought me, ought to save the foeman of death. Come to me, brother, when weary. Come when thy lonely heart swells. I'll guide thy footsteps and lead thee down where the dream woman dwells.
From Kentucky, Bella Slone.
She Walketh Veiled and Sleeping by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. She walketh veiled and sleeping, for she knoweth not her power. She obeyeth but the pleading of her heart and the high leading of her soul unto this hour. Slow advancing, halting, creeping, comes the woman to the hour. She walketh, veiled and sleeping, for she knoweth not her power.
From Mississippi, Elayjah Earles.
Aunt Sue's Stories by Langston Hughes. Aunt Sue has a head full of stories. Aunt Sue has a whole heart full of stories. Summer nights on the front porch, Aunt Sue cuddles a brown-faced child to her bosom and tells him stories. Black slaves working in the hot sun, and black slaves walking in the dewy night, and black slaves singing sorrow songs on the banks of a mighty river. Mingle themselves softly in the flow of old Aunt Sue's voice. Mingle themselves softly in the dark shadows that cross and recross Aunt Sue's stories. And the dark-faced child, listening, knows that Aunt Sue's stories are real stories. He knows that Aunt Sue never got her stories out of any book at all, but that they came right out of her own life. And the dark-faced child is quiet of a summer night, listening to Aunt Sue's stories.
From Michigan, Eliza Aldridge.
Introduction by Alice Duer Miller. Father, what is a legislature? A representative body elected by the people of the state. Are women people? No, my son. Criminals, lunatics, and women are not people. Do legislators legislate for nothing? Oh no, they are paid a salary. By whom? By the people. Are women people? Of course, my son, just as much as men are.
From Tennessee, Sarah Williamson.
My Grandmother's Love Letters by Hart Crane. There are no stars tonight, but those of memory. Yet how much room for memory there is in the loose girdle of soft rain. There is even room enough for the letters of my mother's mother, Elizabeth, that have been pressed so long into a corner of the roof that they are brown and soft and liable to melt as snow. Over the greatness of such space, steps must be gentle. It is all hung by an invisible white hair. It trembles as birch limbs webbing the air. And I ask myself, are your fingers long enough to play old keys that are but echoes? Is the silence strong enough to carry back the music to its source and back to you again, as though to her? Yet I would lead my grandmother by the hand through much of what she would not understand. And so I stumble, and the rain continues on the roof with such a sound of gently pitying laughter.
From Puerto Rico, David D'Aguilar.
A Nation's Strength by William Ralph Emerson. What makes a nation's pillars high and its foundation strong? What makes it mighty to defy the foes that round it throng? It is not gold. Its kingdoms grand go down in battle shock. Its shafts are laid on sinking sand, not on abiding rock. Is it the sword? As the red dust of empires passed away, the blood has turned their stones to rust, their glory to decay. And is it pride? Ah, that bright crown has seemed to nations sweet, but God has struck its luster down in ashes at his feet. Not gold, but only men can make a people great and strong. Men who for truth and honor's sake stand fast and suffer long. Brave men who work while others sleep, who dare while others fly. They build a nation's pillars deep and lift them to the sky.
From Florida, Esinam Agama.
Ships That Pass in the Night by Paul Laurence Dunbar. Out in the sky, the great dark clouds are massing. I look far out into the pregnant night, where I can hear a solemn booming gun and catch the gleaming of a random light. That tells me that the ship I seek is passing. My tearful eyes, my soul's deep hurt are glassing. For I would hail and check that ship of ships. I stretch my hands, imploring, cry aloud.
My voice falls dead a foot from mine own lips, and but its ghost doth reach that vessel. Passing, passing. O earth, O sky, O ocean, both surpassing. O heart of mine, O soul that dreads the dark. Is there no hope for me? Is there no way that I may sight and check that speeding bark which, out of sight and sound, is passing?
From Missouri, Salvador Gonzalez.
Representation by Alice Duer Miller. My wife dislikes suffrage, and that settles me. Vice President Marshall. 1. My wife dislikes the income tax, and so I cannot pay it. She thinks that golf all interest lacks, so now I never play it. She is opposed to tolls repeal, though why, I cannot say. But woman's duty is to feel, and man's is to obey. 2, I'm in a hard position for a perfect gentleman. I want to please the ladies, but I don't see how I can. My present wife's a suffragist and counts on my support, but my mother is an anti of a rather biting sort. One grandmother is on the fence, the other much opposed, and my sister lives in Oregon. She thinks the question's closed. Each one is counting on my vote to represent her view. Now, what should you think proper for a gentleman to do?
From Illinois, Jaden Conley.
Chicago by Carl Sandburg. Hog butcher for the world. Toolmaker. Stacker of wheat. Player with railroads and the nation's freight handler. Stormy. Husky. Brawling. City of the big shoulders. They tell me you are wicked, and I believe them, for I have seen your painted women under the gas lamps, luring the farm boys. And they tell me you are crooked, and I answer, yes, it is true. I have seen the gunman kill and go free to kill again. And they tell me you are brutal. And my reply is, on the faces of women and children, I have seen the marks of wanton hunger. And having answered so, I turn once more to those who sneer at this my city, and I give them back the sneer and say to them, come and show me another city with lifted heads singing, so proud to be alive, and coarse, and strong, and cunning, flinging magnetic curses amid the toil of piling job on job. Here is a tall, bold slugger, set vivid against the little soft cities, fierce as a dog, with tongue lapping for action. Cunning as a savage, pitted against the wilderness. Bareheaded, shoveling, wrecking, planning, building, breaking, rebuilding. Under the smoke, dust all over his mouth. Laughing with white teeth. Under the terrible burden of destiny, laughing as a young man laughs, laughing even as an ignorant fighter laughs who has never lost a battle, bragging and laughing. That under his wrist is the pulse, and under his ribs, the heart of the people. Laughing the stormy, husky, brawling laughter of youth, half naked, sweating, proud to be hog butcher, tool maker, stacker of wheat, player with railroads and freight handler to the nation.
That concludes round 2. Out of a nationwide competitive field, these students rose to the top. I think you've seen and heard why. We'll now take a brief 10-minute intermission for tabulators to finalize the scores before we proceed to round 3. Would all the competitors please return to the stage? And can you guys please give another round of applause for all of these 18 state champions? We'd like to now award a plaque to each competitor for their achievement in representing their state at the national finals. Presenting the awards is Katie Day from the National Endowment for the Arts. From Alabama, Aarvi Shah. From Arkansas, Lillian Baker. From Florida, Esinam Agama. From Georgia, Rory Berg. From Illinois, Jaden Conley. From Indiana, Jayda Dawn. From Iowa, Emma Oleson. From Kansas, Miriam Mantara. From Kentucky, Bella Slone. From Louisiana, Mallory Lott. From Michigan, Eliza Aldridge. From Mississippi, Elayjah Earles. From Missouri, Salvador Gonzalez. From Nebraska, MajieAhna Winfrey. From Oklahoma, Sarah Wheatley. From Puerto Rico, David D'Aguilar. From Tennessee, Sarah Williamson. From Wisconsin, Riley Grace Saenim. Okay, here we go. The 8 students with the highest scores in the first 2 rounds will now recite their third poem. This score will be added to their scores from the first 2 rounds to determine the 3 students who will advance to the national finals tomorrow night. Those 8 students, our regional finalists, are from Georgia, Rory Berg. From Illinois, Jaden Conley. From Indiana, Jayda Dawn. From Iowa, Emma Oleson. From Louisiana, Mallory Lott. From Mississippi, Elayjah Earles. From Missouri, Salvador Gonzalez. And from Wisconsin, Riley Grace Saenim. Congratulations. Students, you all may now leave the stage. Let's give the students a minute to collect themselves before we bring them back on stage. I'd like to take a minute to once again recognize our judges for their hard work this morning. Sandra Beasley is the poetry editor for Blair, a literary press, is the author of 4 poetry collections and a memoir, and is the recipient of numerous awards, including a creative writing fellowship from the National Endowment for the Arts. Kim James Bay is a professor of acting and voice at Howard University. Bay trains performers in vocal technique and performance while working extensively in theater and arts education. Ricardo Alberto Maldonado is a poet, editor, and former executive director of the Academy of American Poets. Maldonado is the founder of the Young Writers Workshop, a national poetry program for high school students. Dennis Nangle is Assistant Dean for Resource Development and Access at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. Nangle previously worked with the National Students Poets Program, helping build partnerships with libraries, museums, and cultural institutions to expand access to poetry and storytelling for young people. Thank you, judges. And now, here we go with the third round. First up, from Wisconsin, Riley Grace Saenim.
It Was Not Fate by William H.A. Moore. It was not fate which overtook me, rather a wayward, willful wind that blew hot for a while, and then, as the even shadows came, blew cold. What pity it is that a man grown old in life's dreaming should stop, e'en for a moment, to look into a woman's eyes. And I forgot that one's heart must be steeled against the east wind. Life and death alike come out of the east. Life as tender as young grass, death as dreadful as the sight of clotted blood. I shall go back into the darkness, not to dream, but to seek the light again. I shall go by paths, mayhap, on roads that wind around the foothills, where the plains are bare and wild, and the passers-by come few and far between. I want the night to be long, the moon blind, the hills thick with moving memories, and my heart beating a breathless requiem for all the dead days I have lived. When the dawn comes, dawn, deathless, dreaming, I shall will that my soul must be cleansed of hate. I shall pray for strength to hold children close to my heart. I shall desire to build houses where the poor will know shelter, comfort, beauty. And then may I look into a woman's eyes and find holiness, love, and the peace which passeth understanding.
From Indiana, Jayda Dawn.
From The Southland's Charms and Freedom's Magnitude 11 by Aarvi Shah Whitman. 11. The stars and stripes that in our standard fly, immortal symbols of the nation's might, the splendor of night's orb emblazoned sky, the blue of day's eternal depths, the white of heaven's peace and spotless purity, and red of morn's defiant streaming light, meant nothing, which that madcap state would heed, which vowed to spread vile slavery or secede.
From Georgia, Rory Berg.
Spring in Wartime by Sarah Teasdale. I feel the spring, far off the faint, far scent of bud and leaf. Oh, how can spring take heart to come to a world in grief, deep grief? The sun turns north, the days grow long, later the evening star grows bright. How can the daylight linger on for men to fight? Still fight, the grass is waking in the ground, soon it will rise and blow in waves. How can it have the heart to sway? Over the graves, new graves. Under the boughs where lovers walked, the apple blooms will shed their breath. But what of all the lovers now parted by death? Gray death.
From Iowa, Emma Oleson.
The Paradox by Paul Laurence Dunbar. I am the mother of sorrows. I am the ender of grief. I am the bud and the blossom. I am the late falling leaf. I am thy priest and thy poet. I am thy serf and thy king. I cure the tears of the heart sick. When I come near, they shall sing. White are my hands as the snowdrop. Swart are my fingers as clay. Dark is my frown as the midnight. Fair is my brow as the day. Battle and war are my minions, doing my will as divine. I am the calmer of passions. Peace is a nursling of mine. Speak to me gently, or curse me. Seek me or fly from my sight. I am thy fool in the morning. Thou art my slave in the night. Down to the grave will I take thee, out from the noise of the strife. Then shalt thou see me and know me, death then no longer. But life, then shalt thou sing at my coming, kiss me with passionate breath, clasp me and smile to have thought me aught save the foeman of death. Come to me, brother, when weary. Come when thy lonely heart swells. I'll guide thy footsteps and lead thee down where the dream woman dwells.
From Louisiana, Mallory Lott.
Suppose by Phoebe Cary. Suppose, my little lady, your doll should break her head. Could you make it whole by crying till your eyes and nose are red? And wouldn't it be pleasanter to treat it as a joke and say you're glad 'twas Dolly's and not your head that broke? Suppose you're dressed for walking and the rain comes pouring down. Will it clear off any sooner because you scold and frown? And wouldn't it be nicer for you to smile than pout, and so make sunshine in the house when there is none without? Suppose your task, my little man, is very hard to get. Will it make it any easier for you to sit and fret? And wouldn't it be wiser than waiting like a dunce to go to work in earnest and learn the thing at once? Suppose that some boys have a horse, and some a coach and pair. Will it tire you less while walking to say, "It isn't fair"? And wouldn't it be nobler to keep your temper sweet and in your heart be thankful you can walk upon your feet? And suppose the world don't please you, nor the way some people do. Do you think the whole creation will be altered just for you? And isn't it, my boy or girl, the wisest, bravest plan, whatever comes or doesn't come, to do the best you can?
From Mississippi, Elayjah Earles.
Let No Charitable Hope by Eleanor Wiley. Let no charitable hope confuse my mind with images of eagle and of antelope. I am by nature none of these. I was being human, born alone. I am being woman, hard beset. I live by squeezing from a stone the little nourishment I get. In mask, outrageous and austere, the years go by in single file, but none has merited my fear, and none has quite escaped my smile.
From Missouri, Salvador Gonzalez.
The Plains of Peace by Olivia Ward Bushbanks. Again, my fancy takes its flight and soars away on thoughtful wing. Again, my soul thrills with delight. In this, the fancied theme I sing. From earthly scenes a while, I find release and dwell upon the restful plains of peace. The plains of peace are passing fair, where naught disturbs and naught can harm. I find no sorrow, woe, or care. These all are lost in perfect calm. Bright are the joys, and pleasures never cease for those who dwell on the plains of peace. No scorching sun or blighting storm, no burning sand or desert drear, no fell disease or wasting form to mar the glowing beauty here. Decay and ruin ever must decrease here on the fertile, healthful plains of peace. What rare companionship I find. What hours of social joy I spend, what restfulness pervades my mind, communing with congenial friend. True happiness seems ever to increase while dwelling here upon the plains of peace. Ambitions, too, are realized. In that which I have sought on earth, I find at last idealized. My longings ripen into worth. My fondest hopes no longer fear to cease, but bloom forth brightly on the plains of peace. "'Tis by my fancy, yet 'tis true, somewhere, having done with earth, we shall another course pursue. According to our aim or worth, our souls from mortal things must find release. and dwell immortal on the plains of peace.
From Illinois, Jaden Conley.
Enigma by Leonora Spire. It would be easy to forgive if I could, but remember, if I could hear lost love of mine, the music of your cruelties, shaking to sound the silent skies, could voice with them their song divine, red with pain's leaping ember. It would be easy to forgive if I could, but remember, it would be easy to forget if I could find lost sorrow. If I could kiss her plaintive face and break with her her bitter bread, could share again her woeful bed, and know with tears her pale embrace make yesterday tomorrow. It would be easy to forget if I could find lost sorrow.
That concludes round 3. Congratulations to all the students we've seen here today. We'll take a minute to finish tabulating scores, and we will be back momentarily. That concludes round 3. Congratulations to all of the students. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. This region's Honorable Mention Award goes to the student who finished in 4th place. This student will receive a $1,000 cash prize and $500 for their representing school or organization to purchase poetry materials. And the honorable mention goes to, from Iowa, Emma Oleson. Three students will move on to compete tomorrow evening, April 29th, right here in Listener Auditorium for the National Finals. They will receive at least a $1,000 cash prize and $500 for their school or organization to purchase poetry materials, but we all know they've got their eyes on the $20,000 prize that is awarded to the national champion. In no particular order, here are the top 3. From Indiana, Jayda Dawn. From Louisiana, Mallory Lott. And from Illinois, Jaden Conley. These are your Region 2 national finalists. Join these 3 students and our other national finalists as they advance to the national finals tomorrow night, April 29th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can also live stream the national finals on arts.gov. Congratulations. Thank you to our American Sign Language interpreters for this round, Mia Engel and Steve Fan. And thank you all for joining us. The next round of semifinals competition will begin at 5 p.m. Eastern as students from the Upper Northwest and West compete for the next 3 spots in the national finals. We look forward to seeing you all here tomorrow evening for the national finals competition. Have a good evening.